I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Harris Township Board of Supervisors, December 11th, 2023. First, we have a public hearing, but we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right, first tonight we have a public hearing on the 2024 Harris Township operating budget. You want to do that, Mark? You want me to do it?
I can do it.
Okay, go ahead.
The 2024 Harris Township operating budget proposes general fund expenditures of $3,361,799 and expenditures of $932,634 from the special funds. The budget proposes the following changes to our real estate millages: increasing the general real estate millage from 3.8 to 4.9 mils, renewal of the tax for capital purposes for the Harris Township Maintenance Department at the sum of 0.2 mils. This tax will sunset on December 31st, 2026. Renewal of the tax for special purposes is determined by the Harris Township Board of Supervisors at the sum of 0.3 mils. This tax will sunset on December 31st, 2026. And increasing the millage rate for fire hydrant assessment from 0.3 to 0.36 mils. The budget was tentatively adopted on November 13th and has been available for inspection at the Township office and on the Township website over the past month.
Do I have any public comment on that? Anybody would like to comment on our budget?
Motion to adjourn, sir.
Excuse me?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, okay, I don't hear anybody. Okay, I have a motion to adjourn. I have a second. I have a second. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we'll move to our regular agenda. First on the agenda is approval of minutes of the meeting of November 8th, 2023 budget meeting and the November 13th, 2023 regular meeting. Do I have a motion for that?
Move to approve the two agenda items, or seconds.
And who was second? That was Nigel. So we have Bruce and Nigel. Okay, all those in favor, anybody have any comments, additions, or deletions?
Any objections?
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Citizens' comments. This is a section of the meeting where we let members of the public are invited to comment on any item not on the agenda. 5 minutes per person, time limited, please. Comments relating to a specific item on the agenda should be deferred until that point in the meeting. Do we have any public comments or citizens' comments? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move to the next item, new agenda items. Now, this item's changed a little bit since our last meeting. So, Mark, you want to explain now, or you want me to?
I can explain it.
Okay.
So, Pennsylvania Act 65 requires that the township post all agendas on our website at least 24 hours before a meeting. There was a recent court ruling that has changed the interpretation of that, and so at this point, only emergency and de minimis items can be added to the agenda by a majority vote of the Board of Supervisors. So if there are any emergency or de minimis items that the board wants to add, you would need to discuss them at this time.
Does anybody have anything, an emergency or anything they want to present?
No, but I do have just address the point of order. If there is an item that is on the agenda, we can make motions subsidiary to that item or modify it, amend it.
As long as it's
It's on topic.
right, as long as it's advertised as something to be discussed on the agenda, you can make motions related to whatever the topic is. It's
Okay.
just you can't add a new item
Good, thank you.
completely.
Can you if it's simply for discussion and no vote, and do we have to move to have that 24 hours in advance also?
So that's one of the questions that I didn't get complete clarity back from our solicitor on. To me, it sounded as though anything that would involve any type of direction to use any type of funding or staff resources, basically anything beyond just a minor matter or something that's truly an emergency that came up within the last 24 hours shouldn't be added to the agenda, was how I understood it.
So if you have items for something come up today, say something that we should discuss it, but we're not going to vote, there's going to be any vote on it and no money spent, does that have to be, can that be discussed at the meeting?
I think if it came up today and it qualified as what would be considered an emergency, it would be okay.
Well, what if it's not an emergency? What if it's, and my point is this just for voting items, to vote to spend money? because we spend money, we have to vote for that, we have to take motions. But if this is a discussion item, does it have to be?
It's something I can ask the solicitor for more clarity on. It wasn't
Because I
something,
can't see how that says free speech. I don't see how they can stop someone for having one have a discussion about something during a meeting that's happened after 24 hours.
I think the ruling was essentially so that the public is always aware of what's going to be discussed in the meeting in advance, and nothing's being added at the meeting without them being given a heads up. And these were the exceptions that the court carved out when they made their ruling.
So allied with this, if we have an item that's on the agenda as a discussion item, can we have a vote on a motion pertinent to that discussion
I
item?
think, yeah, that's still fine, because you had it advertised that there was going to be a
All right.
discussion about the topic on the agenda.
I think you still need to clarify, because, for example, if we have a citizen's comment, which we have, and occasionally we'll do some discussion or comments on that citizen's comments, and they are not on the agenda. So I'm wondering if just comments and discussion that is brought up either by a citizen or somebody can be done. So I think you need to clarify that.
I can look into
Yeah,
it
clarify
to get
that to
more
make
clarity.
sure, because like I said, we could have a citizen's comment that would get us into a discussion.
Well, as I read yellow, but
Related to that, the board members are welcome to make public comment too, if something's not on the agenda,
Yeah.
as long as it's just a comment.
well, then we'd like to do that.
You can make comment, yeah, under
Okay, so you
public
can
comments,
discuss
you
it.
can
So
make
that's under
comments, but
discussion.
Okay.
Okay. As long as it's not a vote or to spend money or to take official action, I think you're okay. That is what I read before, but it's changed. It may have changed.
All right,
Did
so,
change.
so you're gonna check on those
yeah, I don't know,
points
there's a
and
test out there.
make sure
but I
that
will check.
we're not gonna be doing something that's goofy and wrong.
Can't believe we would ever do that.
I know. Okay, we're gonna move on to township business. Did you wanna make a motion about indefinite, what the heck is it, table indefinitely? Do you wanna table indefinitely that first one? Okay, first on the agenda tonight is, as some of you know, Mr. Graham, this is his last meeting with us. So,
At this side of the table.
at this side of the table. Oh gosh, here comes citizen comments. Anyway, so we decided that we would do a little honoring of Bud here tonight. So first off, we did a resolution, or not a resolution, a proclamation. So I'm gonna read the proclamation, and then we're gonna give it to Bud, and a couple other little things here that we're gonna do.
Okay. Then we'll toast it.
We may toast it. That might come later. A proclamation of Harris Township. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of Harris Township, Center County, Pennsylvania, wishes to publicly recognize Charles Bud Graham for his longtime service to the community as a township supervisor. And whereas Bud was first elected as a township supervisor in 1993 and served in this capacity for 30 years, having been elected to 5 consecutive terms. And whereas Bud served as the chairman of the Board of Supervisors in the years 2004, 2009, 2014, and 2019. And whereas Bud represented Harris Township on numerous committees of the Center Region Council and Governments, including the Ad Hoc COG Program Committee, Climate Action Sustainability Committee, Code Committee, Executive Committee, Finance Committee, Fire Training Site Committee, and the Section 42 Housing Task Force. He also served as the Center Region's COG's representative on the Pennsylvania Association of Council of Governments. And whereas Bud served as the township representative to the Boalsburg Heritage Museum since 2005, liaison to the Boalsburg Small Area Plan Committee from 2013 to 2016, and liaison the Center Area Cable Consortium from 2010 to 2020.
About that.
And now, therefore, it be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Harris Township conveys its sincerest appreciation and gratitude to Charles Bud Graham for his longstanding public service, dedication, and commitment to the residents of Harris Township.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hart.
There you go, that.
Well,
And then we have a couple other things. We're not gonna let you talk yet.
oh, okay.
We'll let you talk at the end, because I think
But I'm
there's,
afraid we just played.
I think there's, now this is easy. We didn't do anything bad here.
Okay.
This is just a plaque, and basically the plaque says Harris Township 2023 Public Service Award is presented to Charles Bud Graham, Supervisor, Harris Township, for 30 years of dedicated public service.
All right, well, thank you again.
And then you have to open this one and show the crowd.
doesn't rattle. There's something I have to put on.
You can put it on, we don't, that's up to you, that's up to you.
Oh, oh. Now I don't get a vote. I knew it was gonna be. I just had this feeling. Well, I just joined the club with Amy, right?
Now we need a pitcher of water to wet it down with.
Oh, we didn't get
into
away.
that. We won't get into that very much.
Okay. Now moving on, before we go any further, I know there's some people online and some people in the audience that might like to say a couple things to Bud, so let's start with the audience. Amy, did you want to say a couple things to start us off?
So I would just like to say to Bud, you were the most frustrating human individual I had to deal with.
It worked.
During 17 years. You made me go like this at least once during every meeting. You reminded me that I didn't get a vote. Pretty much every meeting. But during those 17 years, you were also the biggest support of me and of my career, and you helped me advance into my position now in Patton Township and also to the things I achieved statewide, and I very much appreciate all of that. And it's fitting that your phone would be going off.
Yes, Mr. President, I'll be right there.
So I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for me personally. Thank you for everything that you've done for the township. I know that my career in Harris Township wouldn't have been as entertaining had you not been here. So thank you.
Entertaining's not the least.
Maybe you were well worth it.
Anybody else in the audience? Okay, you're welcome. Come on up to the mic. Rich, are you going to want to say anything?
Oh, jeez. This could be a roast.
Could be.
I'm Heather Ricker-Gilbert, and I just wanted to say to Bud, on behalf of the board of the Boalsburg Heritage Museum, how much we appreciate him. He has great ideas, he has historic perspective, he adds a little humor to our meetings, and we're very grateful, and we hope he'll continue to serve on the board. Thanks, Bud.
Thank you. I will.
Okay, Mr. Frank?
Mr. Graham,
I don't know this gentleman, by the way.
I stand before you representing my peers of College Township. I think Mr. Bernier's got some nice things to say about you as well, but I also shared many, many years of COG finance with you. We fought many battles together, and I'm going to miss having you there, but I appreciate that you're going to chair our meeting Thursday one last time to lead us forward. But thank you for your service. I hope to see you around.
Okay, thanks, Rich.
Anybody else in the audience?
I just want to thank you, Bud, so very much. Not only have you always answered the phone when I had questions and tirelessly answered all of my questions, you've helped me with questions even about the tavern. You've helped me with, you just have helped me so much through the years, and I just want to thank you so much. And my appreciation is so heartfelt.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll let you guys to go last. But I know Eric online. Is there anybody else besides Eric? Just raise your hand if there's anybody else up there.
Also has his hand up.
Okay, Sean. Okay, so go ahead, Eric. Let's go with you, and then we'll go with Sean. You're muted. We're not hearing you, Eric.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
You're still not hearing him.
They're not getting out, nobody's getting our audio.
Okay, I don't think
this
we're
was
on.
from earlier. That comment was from her before the stream started.
Okay.
So I think
Hold on, guys. We're trying to get through to the audio. Is there
like
something we
folks
need?
on Zoom can hear other people on Zoom, but not here in the room.
Did we knock a plug out or something? Sean, are you able to come in? We can't hear you either. Hold on a second. We got a technical difficulty. Okay, try it now, Eric.
Any better?
Yeah, that'll work.
Hey.
All right. Hey, Eric Bernier, College Township Council. Like Rich, I wanted to be there in person, but I'm hosting a little family event here, so I'm gonna comment and run. Too quick. After listening to that proclamation, congratulations, Bud, because you have just recouped a boatload of time in your life. And
Yes.
and you could likely tour the world, I think, in the time you spent just on the finance committee. That committee ought to have an asterisk on that proclamation. Hey, and then secondly, you guys know this. I grew up here, raised my family here. My parents retired here. I retired here. My kids are raising their families here because we love it. We think the Center Region is the best place to live, and it doesn't happen by accident. You know, it happens because of the effort and commitment made by many public officials over decades, like you. So while a lot of us elected officials may want to take some credit for, what a great place this is, we actually all really stand on the shoulders of folks like you. So along with Rich, on behalf of College Township and the 4 generations of my family that live in the Center Region, I'm online tonight to offer my sincere appreciation. Amy mentioned Harris Township. I'm offering my sincere appreciation for everything that you have done for the Center Region as a whole. You absolutely deserve to enjoy that windfall of time that you're going to get back in your life. So thanks again, Bud.
Thank you.
Okay, Sean.
Great, thank you. So, Bud, on behalf of the Center Region Fire Protection Program, thank you. I can tell you, your time with the Finance Committee has been invaluable, especially for me. Now, you and I have worked together, you're going to choke on this, for 38 years.
Yes.
When I was a junior fireman in the Boalsburg Fire Company, Bud was one of my mentors. So, all those years we've had a chance to work together, and I just want to say thank you. When Amy told me there was an opportunity to come on Zoom, I couldn't wait. So, thank you very much, Bud.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, I don't see any other hands. Anybody else that wants to say anything? All right, we'll go on. Nigel, do you want to say anything?
Easy,
Sure,
guys,
something
easy.
off the cuff.
Easy now.
Easy. Well, I don't know. Some of you may know that Bud and I were elected at the same time initially, and so this 30 years of working with Bud has actually been fantastic. He's a Republican, I'm a Democrat, but we're not partisan here. We all care about the community, and Bud really shows that. You know, being a lifelong resident of Boalsburg, he's really put a lot of effort into keeping the community the way it is, as much as possible, allowing for growth. So we, on almost every item, we agree wholeheartedly how we should handle things. And
Yes.
I appreciate serving with you, Bud.
Thank you.
Dennis?
I was thinking it was singing around for He's a Jolly Good Fellow.
Easy now.
Anyone want to join me for He's a Jolly Good Fellow? Thank you, Bud.
Thanks, Dan.
Bruce?
Well, when I started, Bud gave me a piece of advice that I've always valued.
Oh.
And that was, take all this stuff after the meeting and throw it away. Because if you need it, staff will get it for
Staff
you.
has it.
Otherwise, you just drown underneath it.
Exactly.
Well, Bud, I think that all of us, and I know, I have to really watch what I say because I knew Bud before. Long before. And let's just say that we had some good times together. But Bud, you always have looked out for Harris Township, and I know you'll continue looking out for Harris Township. I know that you're going to be ending your tenure as a supervisor this month, but you will never end your tenure as mayor of Boalsburg.
Oh, jeez.
So, thank you, sir.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you,
Now, is
Bud.
it my turn?
Yeah, sure, Bud. Go ahead. Now we'll get. I forgot we didn't let Bud
Well-
talk. Go ahead, Bud.
This is overwhelming. I don't really, yeah, do appreciate it. Unexpected, totally unexpected. I'm leaving here. I will miss it. Although I understand that life goes on, and maybe it is time for some fresh face to come in here. Not that we're old and we're all old or anything, but maybe it's time for some turnover. And I hope that we've set a groundwork for the future for the COG and for the township. We hope to set them on a straight path. And I agree with that. I've tried that, so I really don't, I'm just overwhelmed. I don't know what to say, other than thank you, everybody. And I will say this, after 30 years, the supervisors and the COG people are almost like family. When Lamy left, it was like when she graduated from us. Felt like we were having a kid graduate to the next level, and that's how I felt about everybody. And it's enjoyable. And I will say this: Harris Township and Bowlesbury has been very, very good to me over the years. I'm very lucky to be here. It has treated me very well. I have raised all the families here. I had maybe a chance to leave, decided not to because I have traveled with a future employment, past employment, no future employment, thank you. I was lucky enough to travel many, many spots around the world, and people are the same everywhere. And we come to Harris Township, we're the same. So we have the same goals as everybody, and we're trying to keep our lifestyle just like it is. So thank you very much. As I say, I probably should say some deep words of wisdom, but but thank you very much.
Bud and I happen to have birthdays on the same day.
Birthdays are the same
He's
day.
1 year younger than I am, so.
Yes, we are. They were both left-handed, if that means anything. Well, thanks again, everybody. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
But I left a few written comments off of Zoom up there if you want to read them. Wow.
Like if I could see them.
Yeah, so it's Lisa Holland and Jenny Evans both thanked you for your
wonderful.
service and just
Good.
wanted to
Good.
make sure you were aware of that.
Good. Good.
All right. Now we can move on to the business. First on our agenda tonight is this letter we got, or I guess it's an email. I am writing to resign my position as tax collector of Harris Township effective December 31st, 2023. I am in the process of moving to Patton Township, so I no longer will be eligible to hold office. Please let me know if you need any additional information from me. Thanks, Amy. So for those of you who don't know, Amy's moving to Patton Township. So I guess we got to find a tax collector, which we can do on January. But we do have to have a motion here tonight to accept her resignation. So I'll entertain a motion for that.
We table this?
We could table it indefinitely. We could do that, yes.
Is this new business?
Was this on the agenda?
So anyway, back to that. I would like a motion. Does anybody want to do a motion?
I'll make that motion, sir.
Dennis made the motion. Do I have a second? Go ahead, Bud.
No second.
Bud's going to second that motion. Any other comments or anything anybody wants to say? If not, all those in
Regular
favor?
appointments on the January meeting?
Yes, we'll make that at the January meeting. Hearing nothing else, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Hearing none, passes. Okay, next. Okay, we have a potential request to PennDOT to consider safety improvements on 322. Go ahead, or you want me to get, you read, you're better at reading than I am.
So on November the 8th of this year, a fatal accident occurred on US 322 in Harris Township near the Old Fort intersection where the highway merges from 4 lanes to 2. There have been several accidents in this exact same location of the highway over the past several years. Supervisor Hammeister asked that an item be added to the agenda to allow the board to discuss their concerns with this portion of the roadway, and the board should discuss any concerns you may have and determine if a letter should be sent to PennDOT requesting consideration of safety improvements for this section of 322.
Yeah, I think we need some new procedures looked at. PennDOT sadly is a reactive organization. We've had 3 or 4 fatalities, Bud, in that section.
Well, I'll discuss that with you.
And I think with new technology on the market, we're beginning to see some of that on the curves in the state. They can begin looking at some technology to solve that area because having lost a lady from Bellefonte is not acceptable.
Well, that we have known that this was an issue even when that bypass opened up. The fire company realized that with certain sections of that were unsafe, especially the intersection where it comes into Bowlesburg and opens up. But I'm hoping that this new road connector will address some of those problems. I don't know if it were or not, but I'm hoping that PennDOT engineers and that I'm hoping that they're looking at it. We've discussed that with State College Police, with fire company for quite a while, and I'm hoping that with the new road connector, they will do some improvements along there.
Well, historically, when we had the first one years ago, there were no changes made. Now we've
No,
gone,
no
we've gone
changes.
through 3 or 4 of them. We still have no changes. We had another accident. So let's quit playing games with PennDOT and get them to do something with the new technology that's in the market. They can do it.
Well, I will, anybody, Nigel, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, how about some flashing lights? Simple.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, you're coming off the bike, off the 4-lane, and all of a sudden you're not on a divided highway at all anymore, crossing a bridge. And
you
it's
know where to go.
not, and it's not marked well. It's not, there should be some sort of warning sign there that's highly visible.
There are 3 sets of signs. First one about a half mile down. There's another one at a quarter mile, and there's one at an eighth mile. Nothing with respect to anything flashing, anything other than hopefully you can read the sign.
Well, and I don't think the signs say expressway ending.
No,
either.
it doesn't.
Go ahead, Bruce.
Yeah, it does that.
Does-
This is something we want to bring our traffic engineer in on in constructing this letter.
I don't know that we would need to bring him in if you're asking PennDOT to maybe examine this, maybe look at for some low-cost options and try to just alert drivers. I don't know if it's better just to put it into their court rather than asking our.
Okay,
our
so we're not going
engineer.
to be making recommendations, but rather saying,
Yeah, I think at this point with the state of the SCAC project, it's probably more likely that PennDOT might be willing to at least consider some low-cost options, that we'd want them to examine what they're willing to do. I think if we come in with too many recommendations, they may not be willing to entertain them.
okay,
Okay, just a couple things I have. Number one, this new road, the timeline, you're talking 2033. That's 10 years from now. How many more people are gonna have to, lose their lives up here in 10 years? So I think we do need to send this letter out and ask for some safety. And I also think that we need to make sure that the MPO gets it, our senators get it, our representatives get it, and the county commissioners. So I think it needs to go round the loop, and make sure everybody gets it. As far as MPO, we have put in, safety, items for the next tip for Route 45. So we're already addressing Route 45, but I think this is something that we also need to put into that. So I think if that letter is going to come to us, I think those other groups need to be involved in that. And we can say how many fatalities we've had there and that, at that point. Anybody else have anything else they want to talk about?
Get something done.
Yes, we definitely need to send something now. It's getting worse instead of better. All right, hearing nothing else on that, the next one is Resolution 2317, adopting the 2024 Township budget. The board tentatively adopted the 2024 Harris Township budget on November 13th, 2023. A public hearing was held on the budget earlier this evening. If there are no changes, the budget should be formally adopted. So I need a motion to adopt the budget.
I'll make that motion.
Nigel moved it and Bruce seconded it. Any discussion, comments, anything anybody wants to say on the budget?
Were there any inquiries at the copy that was made in the office? None?
No.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we'll go down through these. Next is Resolution 2318, appropriating sums for COG programs. At the November 27th General Forum meeting, the following motion was passed. The General Forum approved the 2024 COG budget as discussed at its November 27th, 2023 meeting and refers it to participating municipalities for adoption by December 31st, 2023. The resolution contains a list of our 2024 contributions to the various COG committees or programs. Do I have a motion on that?
Sure.
Is that Denny?
Yeah.
Denny's made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Nigel seconds it. Do we have any comments, questions? Anything anybody wants to put in the
Yeah,
record?
I'd like to say that for $776,892, we are drawing down about $28 million in services. So what we're contributing is a minor part of that whole COG budget. And even though ours has gone up, it's still a major part, so.
Okay, anybody else have anything they want to say? Hearing nothing, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Hey.
I got one opposed, so we're going 4-1. Oh, I'm sorry, 3-1. No, wait, how does that go? 3-2. That's what, because I was a nay too. Anyway, okay, we're 3-2 nay, but it passes. Thanks for reminding me. Okay, number F, Resolution 2319, establishing property tax rates for 2024. The second-class Township Code requires municipalities to adopt tax rates for all property taxes levied via resolution. During the 2024 budget process, the board approved the following millage